Now, this is not my favorite full moon by any means, but it might be my favorite to talk about because of how important this full moon and this time in astrology is for the year. We have the Sun conjunct Neptune, we have Mars squaring Neptune, we have this full moon activating that, opposing Neptune, squaring Mars, and we have Saturn entering Pisces during this. It's definitely an aggressive, confusing, nitpicky energy, so whatever comes out, don't attach yourself to this particular event, though do record it and take note of it because it will be particularly distinct given it's the day that Saturn enters Pisces too. So if you're excited to learn what exactly we have in store for this full moon in Virgo, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. Firstly, we're going to get into the overall vibe of this full moon, then we'll look at any specific predictions. But if you're new here, firstly, I am Maren. I'm a tropical astrologer using Western Hellenistic techniques, and I offer daily and weekly horoscopes as well as courses exclusively on Passes, which is a website linked below. If you would like to learn even more from me on a daily, weekly, or course basis, check that out. So this new moon is happening at 16 degrees of Virgo, right in the middle of Virgo, on March 7th, 2023 at 4:39 a.m. Pacific time. I'm filming this in LA, so I always do the time of wherever I am, adjust to your time zone accordingly. Because this moon is happening in the second decan of Virgo, it is associated with the Nine of Pentacles tarot card. So the decans in astrology are third parts, and they provide texture or a little bit more detail into that area of the sky being activated. I really only use them in lunar videos because it helps specify the kinds of events that will be happening around this. And the Nine of Pentacles tarot card is associated with gain or with the slow and steady growth of a project that we are working on. We're removing the blockages, removing inefficiencies, and making something healthier by being really specific and very dedicated to what doesn't work so we can build it back up over time. We're both criticizing it in order to perfect it and building it up over time. Virgo flat out is ruled by Mercury, but this decan has a little bit of Venus influence, which adds to the aesthetic or harmonious details that we're specifying as important. It's not the most fun part of the sky by any means, but it's important, and it shows slowly and steadily criticizing, taking things down and building something up over time to have this aim, but not goal necessarily, of perfection in what we're building. Now, this also means that the sun is in the second decan of Pisces across the sky, which is the Nine of Cups tarot card associated with material happiness. So it's a pretty abundant, very wise part of the sky. It's ruled by Jupiter, and because Pisces itself is also ruled by Jupiter, it's a very wealth-oriented, material success-oriented part of the sky, and it shows that things are going really well on the internal side, on the external side, and our external environment is mirroring our internal state. So the way I would put these two together with the sun in the second decan of Pisces and the moon in the second decan of Virgo is that things are going well for us because we're incrementally working on something, we're being honest with ourselves, we're being detail-oriented, and things are beginning to show how much we're actually building in the world. Our internal state is being aligned, our external state is being aligned, and it's coming from that slow and steady incremental gain. So the ruler of this full moon is Mercury, because Mercury rules Virgo and it's a full moon in Virgo, and Mercury unfortunately is in its fall and its exile in Pisces. So when planets are in their fall, they tend to show a disadvantage of resources, and when planets are in their exile, they're kind of like being in a foreign country and in a paradoxical position and feeling like they're in a weird, they're not comfortable where they are, they're new, they're the new kid here. It's not bad by any means, but it's like the new kid here, they're paradoxical. So having Mercury in a debilitated position shows poor communication. I think that we're gonna have our words twisted and not be able to communicate clearly during this time. It's better for spiritual or for receptive things. It is not a good day for clear tasks. I would not put out a report, sign a contract, do anything verbally very straightforward on this day. And the sun is also conjunct Neptune within 8 degrees. Now this is not so close that it's a super delusional, dreamy new moon, but any closeness to Neptune is gonna add dreaminess, spirituality, delusions, nightmarishness, which can show the pros and the cons of this more ethereal energy going on, which is ironic when it's a full moon in Virgo, but there's very cloudy, very nebulous spiritual energy going on. This is squaring Mars in Gemini, which is the frustrating, combative, part of all this. So Sun, Moon, squaring Mars in Gemini, it is activating frustration, aggravation, and being like just very, very sensitive to anything like ticking you off. Mars squaring Neptune, as I've talked about extensively in my video on Mars in Gemini, Mars retrograde in Gemini. I have a fuck ton of mentions of this because everyone knows Mars has been retrograde in Gemini, squaring Neptune. That shows inaction and frustration. Mars is the warrior, it's action, it's getting things done. Neptune is spirituality, the release, the absorb, like the things spreading everywhere, beauty, delusion, like glamour. So Mars squaring Neptune is like, oh no, what do I do? Oh no, I'm scared. I cannot speak what I am. It's like fear and delusion stopping you from acting. So this is a very frustrating, stupid drama, it looks like, where we're climbing to something. We're building something, we're proud of it. Full moons do show it being revealed what we've worked on. But with Mercury in a poor position and this square to Mars, we're likely fighting with other people around their criticism. We're like splitting hairs over nonsense. We are fighting around the minor details, and it's creating just annoying drama and chaos where we don't even know what our end goal is, even if we're proud about what we're building right here. Jupiter is conjunct Chiron and Venus in Aries, which is kind of this nice saving grace unrelated to this drama, where Jupiter conjunct Chiron shows the growth of healing opportunities, also the growth of sensitivity. So this is crybaby energy overall this full moon, just very dramatic. But with Jupiter conjunct Chiron and Venus, there's the opportunity to be like, okay, this sucks, I really don't like you, but like you're my friend, you're my team, you're whatever, we're gonna patch this up. There is the bright side, we're in good spirits generally. There is a big opportunity to heal and see the bright side here. We're getting hung up over fucking nothing, but in the grand scheme of things, we see that it's all gonna be okay. We're gonna be able to heal from this and get over with. This is a more passive-aggressive, indirect drama. It's not something where I'm expecting like tables flipped or people to really freak out. I'm more so expecting like fighting over the details in the group chat, in your like company Slack, just fighting over like whatever copy you've written and people freaking out over the details, and you're like, but we worked so hard, like you can't mess this up now, and then people are all messing it up, but it's okay. The good news is that this moon in Virgo will be trine Uranus within 1 degree, and therefore the sun will be sextiling Uranus within 1 degree. This shows sudden insight and a sudden solution that might be present. So it's not as if this is the end of the world, super, super seriousness. But with Saturn entering Pisces this day, I do find this interesting. Like what is highlighted will test our emotional boundaries. Because Saturn in Pisces, I have a full video on it, is showing the worldwide emotional faith, all these energetic boundaries that are coming into question. Can you believe this? Can I do this with my body? Can I tell you to do this with your body? Autonomy and belief are really getting boundaries around it. So emotional boundaries will 100% be the main focus for what is negotiated around this. And can you draw a line to impede on my emotional or like even bodily autonomy in that way? Recommendations under this full moon are to not do anything stupid or impulsive around speech or communication because Mercury is in a poor position during this. Also to be careful about trying to solve anything under this full moon. It's definitely a very on-edge energy and actions will likely not be clear, so don't try to push it if you don't have clarity. It's not the end of the world, but it's annoying and frustrating, but look to this day for important events that will be definitive of the Saturn Pisces transit most likely because it's a full moon activating that and does look like these events. Look at the Pisces house in your chart, probably going to be important. But for everyone, look at the Virgo and Pisces houses in your chart. Let me know down below how you're feeling about this. If you have any comments, I would love to hear from you. I only am going to be pulling up one chart for this in the world because I think it's going to be the most relevant for general events around autonomy and belief. But I do think it will be a relevant chart for Bitcoin because it has Mars squaring Bitcoin Saturn exactly, and it's close to squaring Bitcoin's Mars. So anytime Mars and Saturn are activated in Bitcoin's chart, it is bearish. And given the full moon itself is near Bitcoin's Mars and Saturn, it's activating the two most challenging planets. This looks bearish going into this full moon. I would expect chaos and challenge financially, so there's some kind of dump going into this. I would say pump in the days after because we dump into full moons and then pump after, but it looks like dump into this. And then to end things, I'm going to pull an oracle card. Again, these are my friends. I'm at her house and found these, so I hope that it's okay that I'm using them. You can get mad at me later if not, but I feel like this is just good. Go follow Danny Drews on Instagram. It's the least you can do if I get to use her cards on camera. I relate in peace. Oh, this makes sense. That was such a weird sound. I relate in peace. Like that makes so much sense. Don't get involved in the mad list. You relate to the perspectives. You relate to the sides, but you relate in peace. Anyway, I hope that you all enjoy Saturn entering Pisces. Watch my video on it. Watch my video on March for your rising sign if you want to know how this full moon is happening in your chart. And I will see you in the next one.
How there is one